Before we get back to the show, let me tell you about Bart's Pizza. Bart Basilico reinvented his father's pizzeria business by putting it on wheels. I'm talking a pizza food truck, baby. Bart and his wife Lauren travel all around Metro Detroit, cooking up homemade pies made fresh to order in their 4-layered pizza oven on wheels. You can find them on their website at eatbartspizza.com and Facebook and Instagram as well at Bart's Pizza. His last name is literally Basil, so you know he knows what he's doing. Make sure to grab a cannoli as well while you're there. Bart's Pizza, it's too good.
Yo, I'm Jake Masucci from Jake's Takes. I wanted to talk a little bit about my show on my guy Giovanni's own show. And I wanted to talk about a little bit about Jake's Takes. I'm a student manager at Oakland University, and I kind of just talk all things sports. I talk a lot about the NBA, talk a little college basketball. We did a lot of March Madness stuff recently. We talked about NBA playoffs, NFL playoffs, talked a lot about the NFL draft. It's basically just an all things sports show. I really think you guys would enjoy it. And shout out to my guy Giovanni. Love him. But please check out Jake's Takes. It's available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and then it's also available on its own YouTube channel. So please check out Jake's Takes, but please continue enjoying Giovanni's show.
WXOU Pizza, this is Rocco.
Hi, Rocco.
Hey, how can I help you tonight?
What are your specials?
Tonight we got a deep dish lineup of freeform radio programming.
Deep dish is my favorite. What's on it?
Your choice of toppings from talk, music, and sports shows, sprinkled with a pinch of campus news.
Sounds good. But what else can you throw in?
We hook our listeners up with concert tickets to everything from Eddie Money to Mac DeMarco.
Oh, I love music. Can we get that delivered?
We deliver 24/7 at 88.3 FM and online at WXOU.org with concert reviews and campus news features. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for our latest updates.
How long till it's ready?
WXOU. Hot, fresh, and ready whenever you are.
Welcome back, everybody, to the GioMoShow after my favorite promo that we have here at WXOU. It cracks me up every time. That must have been so much fun to record. But we're back here on the GioMoShow. I'm your host, Giovanni Moscieri. I did not leave the studio. We're here to talk about our Detroit Lions, baby. They play today to open up the NFL season. We're finally here. We made it through the summer without football to return to the season with football. We're finally back. And honestly, I would think that you see all the memes, you see all the jokes about how finally it's football season again. This is the first time we're not going to have football, or the last time we're not going to have football for 5 months. Something. But man, is it a real feeling? I kind of hate the fact that I almost feel like a sheep in that I need football just like everybody else does, and I'm part of the herd. But man, I am just so excited to have football back here. Not to have our Lions back. It's been a long off season. There's been a lot of talk. And there's been a lot of the same things being talked about, and it got really annoying because I listened to so much that, and of course I understand the business. There's no football to be played, so you kind of have to take every little bit that you can, talk about it as much as you can and as often as you can. I understand that's a business, but I'm just so glad that part's over. We'll have new news to talk about. We'll have new things, new reactions, new content. I'm so excited for it, and that content being here on the GioMoShow as well. So I'm just so excited to have football back. So let's talk about it. So the Lions take on the Chiefs at Arrowhead for opening night, as has been announced for quite a while now and has been talked about ad nauseum. But there's been some new twists recently to this game. If you haven't been listening or haven't been keeping up with it, then 2 of the 3 best players on the Kansas City Chiefs will most likely not be active or at full strength against the Lions. That being tight end Travis Kelce after a recent hyperextension of his knee, and then D tackle Chris Jones, runner-up in Defensive Player of the Year, or at least top 3, I can't remember. He was top 3 in sacks, and I believe runner-up Defensive Player of the Year. So there's a chance that both of them don't play in week 1 against the Lions. And even if Travis Kelce is playing at, let's say, half strength, at a little bit less strength, I think that changes the dynamic of this game a lot. Now, to some people, everything stays the same. A lot of people have the opinion of it doesn't matter who plays, doesn't matter who's out there, a win is a win, and it's as simple as that. Now, I agree with that, and of course, that's going to be the player's mentality as well. They're going to prepare for the worst and hope for the best, as you should. But for me, as a fan, I always try to think of it as a fan, not necessarily as a sports analyst. I'm a fan at heart, and I like to give that kind of perspective. So for me, now that you're facing the champs, it's David versus Goliath. It's the first big test for the new Detroit Lions. But now that you have not one, but maybe 2 star players missing from that team, to me, it feels like you have to win this. It feels like there is not going to be a tough loss, a statement-making loss. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think that's off the table because you're catching them at their weakest. So you should win. So you better win. And you better take advantage of that opportunity. That's what it feels like right now. That's what I'm feeling as a fan. And it puts you in it puts you between a rock and a hard place, in a place where it's almost a lose-lose from a fan's and national media and perspective. Because here's the way I see it. If you lose, then you couldn't even beat them without their 2 of the 3 best players. If you lose, then you're the same old Lions. If you lay an egg, then ain't nobody going to be still cheering for you as they are right now in the offseason. But if you win, well, you were supposed to win. They're missing 2 of their 3 stars. Of course you should have won. Not a big deal. On to the next game. So either way, you're kind of at a perspective, at a crowd disadvantage here, is how I'll say it. It has nothing to do with the actual football on the field. A win is a win. And of course, I have a bit of a mixed bag, in my opinion. A win is a win. I don't care what happens. If we win, we're closer to the playoffs. That's the deal. But part of me is going to be like, man, if we win, it would be more satisfying if it was against their best. But they're not putting their best out there, so what does it matter? You see kind of the mixed bag that I'm talking about here? So that's what I think is going into this game. And that's the kind of sentiment that those 2 absences could potentially bring. But, of course, it's still Patrick Mahomes. It's still Andy Reid. It's still at Arrowhead. It's still in that loud crowd on ring night, national television. It is still all of that. So it's not all of the juice is taken out of the game, but some of it. Now, as for the Lions in total, I didn't talk about them over the summer because I wanted to see how everything shook out, kind of see what everything was looking like and feeling like coming up to this game. We talked about it on a very early episode of Football Therapy, of which I forgot to lead the section off with that. The GioMoShow, when we cover football, it's Football Therapy. So in one of the first editions of Football Therapy on May 16th, is when the episode was released, so you could go back and watch that. Me, my brother, and my cousins, we talked about the Lions season, went through game by game, what we think is going to happen, why, what their final record is going to be, etc. We went through all of that, so be sure to check that out on Spotify and YouTube anytime. So we talked about that. I put this game as a win in the condition that we would lose week 2. I believe that if we to go 2-0 to start the season would be insane to me, because you're going up against not only the champs, but the next week your home opener against the Seahawks, who torched you last year because of your defense. So, and the Seahawks have made great improvements, and they're really looking like a solid playoff team, potentially division winner in the NFC West. So you're going up against that team, after this Chiefs game. To me, I see the Lions going 1-1 after week 2. Either way it shakes out. Now, getting into how the team looks in of itself, we talked about some of the draft additions. We talked about some of the rookies. We talked about a little bit of the free agents. But to kind of sum it all up and to kind of give you the one-stop shop for the Lions offseason, we picked up Cam Sutton from the Steelers to play corner. We picked up the injured Emmanuel Mosley from the 49ers. We got C.J. Gardner-Johnson on a one-year deal from the Eagles. So we really beefed up that secondary that was really cooking us for the beginning or even down the stretch a little bit for the Lions season. So we beefed that up a lot. We got almost 4 starting rookies or 4 participating, contributing rookies on this team. Tight end Sam Laporta, running back Jahmyr Gibbs, safety or nickel or Swiss Army knife Brian Branch, who, by the way, has a sweet nickname that I heard, B2 Bomber. I think that's a sweet nickname. I'm not taking credit for that. It wasn't my nickname, but B2 Bomber is sweet. So those guys alongside linebacker Jack Campbell, or first-rounder linebacker Jack Campbell, all those players are going to be really contributing. Now, are they going to start this game? I don't have that information in front of me, but they're going to be rotated in. Gibbs, absolutely. Campbell, absolutely. Now Laporta, most likely close to absolutely. You get what I mean? So these rookies are going to be contributing a lot, and there's a lot of hype going around them, surrounding them. But what makes my feet cold, what gives me cold feet and hesitation, is that the rookies going up against the Super Bowl champs, one of the most experienced coaches in the NFL, in Andy Reid. The Chiefs are going up against rookies. So part of that gives me hesitation. Not that they're not going to be any good ever. I think throughout the season that we're going to see the ebbs and flows of a rookie season. But they're still rookies. And I'm a little bit nervous about that. How are they going to play against the team that just finished, just won the Super Bowl? Where are the mistakes going to be? Because there's going to be some. Because it's their first NFL game. Preseason doesn't count. Come on. First regular season NFL game. The first one they're playing in, something's about to happen. So I'm not wishing it, obviously. Hey, I'm not trying to jinx anything, but in their rookie season, there's going to be some lapses. And it kind of comes down to when and how are they going to happen. That's what gives me a little bit of hesitation. Now, for the rest of the team, kind of, let's say outside of the rookies, you got one of the best offenses in the league with the Detroit Lions, finishing top 5 in scoring and then whatever other metrics for offense. Top in the league. Got one of the best offensive lines in the league. You got one of the best receivers in Amon-Ra St. Brown in the league. You got Jared Goff, who for some reason still is like a mixed bag for opinions outside of Detroit. Is still, even inside Detroit, people are still kind of wondering about him, which I don't understand. But you got a very capable quarterback in a system that makes him work. That's how I see it. So you have all of these pieces together. You got veterans now on defense. This is a fantastic team. This is a really good team. And today is the day. Tonight is the night that we see what they're really made of. I'm under the impression that they're going to be ready. I understand. I'm under the impression that they're going to play at the intensity that we're used to seeing from a Dan Campbell coach team. I think it's going to be a fantastic matchup. And I do think the Lions can win this. Also because, like I mentioned before, they kind of have to win this. So it is what it is. And now, while we got a little bit of time here, I mentioned that I would talk about it a little bit, but I've entered a Pick'ems league for this NFL season. I participated in a little bit during the playoffs last year, and an old coworker of mine was kind enough to reach out and ask if I wanted to participate in their their company's Pick'ems league, and I politely obliged. And I figured it could make some good little nuggets for the GioMoShow here. I'm not going to go over each individual pick because we got to leave time for the men's club volleyball interview. Haha, I hope you didn't forget. But I do want to inform and introduce that I'm going to be talking about that. We're going to see how many games I got right. We're going to see how I'm doing, what games surprised me, what games screwed me over, which ones lost me in this week's pick'ems. So I'm gonna keep you guys updated on how I do, and we'll see if I'm any good at this thing. We'll see if I'm any good at predicting games. So yeah, to kind of wrap up the Detroit Lions against the Kansas City Chiefs, it's worthy of national television. It's worthy of a watch party at the Hamlin Circle hosted by WXOU at 7 o'clock. Be sure to get there for games, food, and music, as well as your Lions game at 8:20. That's the place to be. This is a great game to watch. It's a great game to introduce the NFL season. Everybody and their father, some mothers as well, are so excited for the NFL. I'm one of them, and I'm just so happy that the NFL is back. So with that conclusion of the Detroit Lions segment of the Joe Mo Show, we're going to kick it to another break, and then we will premiere the first few minutes, at least, of my interview with men's club volleyball with Hamat, Matt, and AP. Right here on the Joe Mo Show, 88.3 FM WXOU. We'll be right back.